Oh, dang it. Oh, the wind is starting to kick up. Blowing things around. Okay, flat leaf Italian parsley. It likes full sun, probably. Part shade. So this is a good place to plant it. I'm going to put the sugar snap peas here, so I think I'll put the parsley here. So you have to think about this. You have to think about sugar snap peas, they climb. So you need to provide something for them to climb up of. This is an old tomato cage that I recycled from last year. So I'm going to train the sugar snap peas with this. But you have to think about the light. You have to think about where you're planting things. You can't just stick stuff in the ground. I mean, that might sound obvious, but that's kind of how I started. Just sticking the stuff up in the ground and not doing my homework. So trial and error, right? Blitzen. Blitzen is an old girl, but she's tough. She's like 14, huh? Yeah, her legs don't work so good nowadays. But she used to be trouble herself. Huh. So let's see. Spaghetti squash. This stuff probably likes full sun. So make sure you look and read. So the light, full sun, at least 6 hours. So I'm going to plant this on this side, right? This side has more shade. This side has more sun, right, Blitzen? So I'm only probably going to plant these because I don't see myself eating that many sugar snap peas. I'm going to give some to my friends. They'll probably appreciate them. I have to pick somebody who will be planting their garden soon. So this bed is nice and wet. I got a lot of drip irrigation in here. These guys will probably like that. We've gotten a lot of rain recently, so this is a perfect time to get out here. The soil is nice and loose, and I can get the weeds out. So another thing I was gonna mention when planting things is the spacing. You really need to pay attention to the planting depth, the planting spacing. I don't always look at the package. I just kind of willy-nilly. And then again, I pay for it because I do things the wrong way. So if you just follow the directions, you'll be successful. So these are little peat pots and they will break down in the soil. So I can just put this right in there and train it up. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just put this out of the way. And the soil is nice and rich, so they, I think, will be very happy in here. So the other thing that I'm learning recently is, you know, the saying, sow sparingly, reap sparingly. I have a really helpful list that tells you how many plants you need to plant for the number of people in your household. And that's hugely important, because if you hope to be eating out of your garden, and not just as it being a hobby, which it has been for me. I mean, I've gotten some things like some, you know, basil and tomatoes and stuff like that to eat from. I've made sun-dried tomato in the oven. I love cooking with fresh herbs, and that's really how I started gardening. But think about that, you know, if you're hoping to get a lot of yield out of your garden, think about how many plants you're going to need. Think about the room and the spacing that you're going to need. It really takes a lot of thought and a lot of planning. Over the years, I have written down what I've planted where, and that really helps with things like crop rotation, because if you plant the same thing in the same bed or the same area, you are more likely to get disease, and your crops are not going to do as well. So you need to do a crop rotation, and writing things down each year will help you to know where you've planted things. And that will help you, again, to be successful. This bed is broken down quite a bit. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but you can see in here there's a lot of debris that has kind of made its way to the top. And you can just till that right in. I put broken eggshells in my beds as well, along with coffee grounds, because it helps to keep the slugs and the cutworms off of your crops. Just getting some of these weeds out of here, breaking up the soil, making it nice and loose. That way the roots can make it through and they don't have any problem. Okay. So we're going to put this flat leaf parsley in here. And something else I do, it's helpful, is just to leave the little planting thing with it. Because as it grows, you'll know, oh yeah, that's what that is. It helps. Hello, Blitzen. You watching, Mama? All right. Let's see. First, I will put the garlic in here. I already have some leeks in here, and one leek. Maybe some other. Some other things. But I think I'm going to wind down for the day. I'm getting pretty tuckered. I've pulled quite a few many weeds. course, you know they say weeds are just plants you don't want. Natively, the weeds are everything the birds need, and the butterflies and the bees. So. Garlic, box. Okay, so they say if you plant garlic, you never need to buy garlic again, because you can keep planting the garlic heads. Okay, so let me take my own advice and read the package. See, it has directions here on how you plant it, when you plant it. This says April through May. We're close enough. Dig a hole to the required depth. Well, what is that depth? Oh, here it says planting high, it'll get to 8 to 10 inches, spacing 2 to 3 inches. So making sure, so they give you this handy dandy little measuring thing, 2 to 3 inches. So we're going to measure 2 to 3 inches apart, and we're going to plant these bulbs according to those instructions. Okay. Oh, it likes full sun. I can't plant it here. I'm going to have to pick another bed to plant it. Maybe that one down by the bell peppers. Planting depth 1 to 2 inches. So, there you go. Read the instructions. Make yourself a map. If you do what the instructions tell you to do, you will be successful. So I'm just breaking up the soil here, getting the weeds out. We don't want those to stay in there and germinate. Some of them you can till under, but I wouldn't recommend it. They're just problematic. Just get them out of here. And again, I'm seeing eggshells in here. I put eggshells in my beds with coffee grounds. Just helps the situation. Okay, so you're just going to break this little bulb. Does that look familiar? No. But they say not to really get them from the grocery store because I'm not sure how successful you're going to be getting these bulbs from the grocery store. You want to get them seed starting bulbs like this that I got at Lowe's. You can get them in any garden store, I'm sure, during the summer or spring rather. See, my brain is shutting down. You want to take them and you're going to plant them this side down because that's the root side and the pointy side up. So it said 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to eyeball it, of course. So I'm just going to take the end of my trowel and make myself a little hole. What did it say? 1 to 2 inches down. 1 to 2 inches depth. Yeah, planting depth 1 to 2 inches. So that's about 1 to 2 inches. And that's about 2 to 3 inches. So I'm just going to make a row of holes. And then I'll offset the other holes for some reason. But now they say you can get a lot more food in these raised beds than you can in the ground because you're not walking on the soil, so you're not in danger of impacting it. So that and the loose soil plays a factor. What else was I going to say? The loose soil plays a factor. The more nutrient-dense environment for them to grow. They're just more protected in a raised bed. And as you can see, it's somewhat easy to deal with the raised beds. I prefer it to in-ground gardening. Not only are weeds more controllable in this situation, but so is the watering and the planting. Just everything this seems to be easier when you're doing a raised bed. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just being willy-nilly. I'm not really planning any of this out, of course. But I would suggest that you write it all down. Of course, I'm going to go back now and write all of this down. Let's see, where did I plant things? I have oregano here already. And like I said, I'm going to cut this bell pepper plant up. Oh, these don't look too hot. Got some moldy ones here. You don't want to plant that. Plant good ones. Let's make some more holes. So I had basil here last season in the summer. Actually, that basil plant was left over from the previous year, and it just kept going. Well, finally, it died out with the winter. So we'll see how this garlic does for me. But it's that easy, as long as you follow the instructions. Like I said, write it down. You should be successful.